my hair.
Hello, hello, hello. It's Friday. And as usual, here goes your Friday video. Now today we want to talk about Christian virtues at home. Yes, Christian virtues at home. Because we know that how you act at home and how you act on the street is like two different person, right? It's like night and day. Probably Dr. Jekyll and Miss Hyde. Some people are just, prim and preppy on the street, but yet still when they reach home, it's a totally different story. If you were supposed to meet some of these people at home, you would wonder, who are you? Is this a stranger within the house? Because you don't know that person at all. Now, we're going to be talking about those Christian virtues that you don't just have when you go out on the street, but you should have them at all times. Yes, all times. You can't just be, flip-flop. Seriously. You can't have one foot in Christendom and then by the time, you're in your house, you're like this totally different person. The Christianity, you left it outside and closed the door. It don't work like that. You have to have those Christian virtues, those Christian values every single where you go. Everywhere you go, everyone you meet. You can't be somebody different. So let's get into it. So the book of John 15 verse 5 says, I am the vine, you are the branches. He who abides in me and I in him bear much fruit. Again, let me read that. John 15 verse 5, it says, I am the vine, you are the branches. He who abides in me and I in him bear much fruit. How we live at home is the acid test. Yes, acid test for most Christian men and women. And you're probably thinking, Simone, what do you mean an acid test? Now, the way scientists prove if something is a acid or, neutral or if it's a base, they use what's called a litmus test. And in order to figure out if something is acidic or alkaline or a base, they use what's called a litmus paper, right? pH, a pH scale. So a pH scale goes from 0 to 14. So from 0 to, I want to say, around 6, we consider that to be acidic. And you leave from like red to somewhat like a yellowish color. Now, your neutral color is green and your base or your alkaline or your blues. So you're leaving from different colors. So when we talk about an acid test and when you think about an acid, right? And they're good acid and then they're bad acid. So when you talk about bad acid, let's think about, hydrochloric acid. Well, if it's very concentrated, this thing can burn something up, if it's very concentrated. Because we do use hydrochloric acid or hydrogen peroxide, as a matter of fact. And hydrogen peroxide, people use it, to clean your cuts, your wounds, scars, different things. Some people use it as a mouthwash. So that's hydrogen peroxide. So it's not, dangerous. It's really not dangerous. But when you talk about hydrochloric acid, yes, that will actually burn your skin up. So, all right, Simone, what does an acid test have to do in compare with our relations at home? All right, so I told you that acid is like red. So it's like, okay, stop. Yes, stop. That red color, stop right there because it's like a warning sign. When you see a stop sign, the color is red, right? So for me, when you talk about an acid test at home, it's like a stop sign right there, stop. Because who are you? Check yourself. That's what I'm talking about. It's a check. Now, it is far easy for us to live an excellent life outside our home, right? Because we care about what public opinion, we care about what people will say about us when we're in the public eye. But behind closed door, we live what whatever life we want to live. And it is so funny. And I'm sure you guys probably have friends or family members who live one way, you know, even at church. They go to church and everybody, they have the churchy speech. Oh, bless the Lord, oh my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his holy name. And then by the time they reach home, ooh, the bleep, the bleep, the bleep, the bleep, the bleep, the bleep. Yep. And they done just leave church, right? They done lift up holy hands. And yeah. Now, it don't work like that. Come on, people. Let's do better. What happened to our Christian virtues? If you're connected to the vine, and we already know the vine is Jesus, you can't be connected to the vine and go bear fruits, but yet still, your fruits are not good. Once you're plugged in and connected to the vine, you're connected with Jesus, you have to bear good fruits. You can't bear, as Jamaica would say, fanky fruits, force ripe fruits, sunburned fruits. It looks good on the outside, but on the inside, it's not really right at all. Don't go like that. So, our family circle see us in our unguarded moments. In our unguarded moments, they see us when we are exhausted and stressed out and, out of our mind. They see us in our worst condition. Our family circle knows whether Christ lived in and through us. Yes, they're watching you. Yes, they're talking about you. So when you doing your own thing and think, well, this is my house and I can do whatever I want to do and I can say whatever I want to say, trust me, they're talking about you. Yes, you. They're talking about you. You see, I'm pointing at the screen and, I'm like really pointing at myself too, because of course I have to check myself. I have to be very careful that I'm living out my Christ-like virtues too, right? If you are a true Christian, I will not give way, you will not give way at home to bad temper, impatient, fault finding, sarcasm, unkindness, selfishness, or laziness. Right? We can't, as Christian, just pick on people and just always in a bad temper, always in a mood. Every single time you turn around, you're miserable. OMG. You can't just walk around feeling like there's a chip on your shoulder. You can't walk around. The people are so unhappy in your house. They have to tippy toe. They're like walking on eggshell. They have to be so careful because they don't want you to crack and explode. What kind of life is that? When our virtues, our Christian virtues, are found in Galatians 5:22 and 23. And that is simply the fruits of the Spirit. So we know that instead, each day, our life, my life, and your life will display the fruit of the Spirit, which is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. No, I must admit to you, yes, this is me being transparent, and this is you gonna help me pray through this, right? Say confess, one to another. Now, I should tell you, patience is just not one of my virtues, but in all truth and honesty, I'm praying. I'm asking God to please help me, God. Help me with this virtue. Help me with this virtue. And I find out that every time I start to, kind of getting, impatient, I'll stop. I'll take some deep breaths. I count if I have to. I sing if I have to. Right? The Bible says you can get upset, but don't sin. Again, you can get upset, but don't sin. Because remember, whatever words come out of your mouth, you can't take them back. Again, whatever words come out of your mouth, you cannot take those words back. And please remember, there is life and death in the power of the tongue. So your tongue is a very, very strong weapon. And you want to make sure you're building up your family members. You want to make sure you're building up your outer circle and not killing them with your tongue. You want to make sure of that. So again, live in your Christian virtue. Not just when you're on the street, you want to be kind and nice and loving. You need to show that in your house too. Whenever people ask the people in your house, okay, what do you think about this person? They shouldn't have anything bad to say. And they shouldn't be making up any story because, oh, I don't want her to get mad at me. No, they just have to be real. I always tell my daughter, tell the truth. And of course, even if it's about me and there is fault finding, please tell me, because that's the only way we're going to grow. And a lot of people don't like when people, criticize them. But there is good criticism. And then there is, just people just miserable, just always trying to find a fault. But I encourage, I encourage those good criticism, because guess what? If I'm failing in a area in my life, I want to know because I want to grow, right? I want to know because I want to grow. How different would your home be if you consistently practice these Christ-like virtues? And again, the fruits of the Spirit. Remember, if you're connected to the vine, which is Jesus, you're going to be producing good fruits. So, of course, I can't let you leave without giving you some homework, right? So, one of the things that I'm praying for, and I pray that you will pray, is to say, Lord, I don't want to portray something in public that I don't live up to in private. Lord, help me, help my sister, help my brother that's watching this video to live out the fruits of your Spirit wherever we are each and every day. So, as usual, don't forget to smash that like button, click subscribe, ring the notification bell, and most important, share. The best is yet to come. Love you guys. See you guys next week.